Hi everyone, welcome to my fourth draft. I've opened a pack that's more exciting than the last few have been, but still not particularly. Nantuko Shade's pretty powerful in a heavy black deck, which goes without saying really, but 4C is in the colour I'd most likely be in a set, and it's also the most powerful card in the pack. There's not too much else relevant, nothing we really want to table, and nothing we'd be sending as a clear signal other than the Shade, so I guess we take 4C and try and stay clear of black if possible. And having taken a 4C, Jason Ingenuity is not quite as good, but still quite a nice card to be getting in blue. Protein Hydra, I've said before, is just a random green guy that doesn't really excite me in any way. It's just a big guy and doesn't fit in any strategy other than big guys and ramp. So, I mean, Chandra's Outrage is good, but it's in red, and it's probably it's probably about as good as the Ingenuity anyway, so there's no reason to switch colours. And another rather unexciting pack. I'm not really a big fan of Condemn, maybe more so it looks like I'll be drafting more of a control deck, but normally blue-white you want to be quite tempo based, and Condemn I wouldn't even play it if I had it, because you're giving your opponent life and you're waiting for them to attack you, which are two things you don't want to be doing. As there's nothing that really wants me to change colour at the moment, I'm just going to keep taking the fixes and hope I get some bombs to draw into. Okay. Having said I don't want to be in red, that Ember Hauler's quite late. People always say Ember Hauler's not that good because you can't stack damage anymore, but it's still a 2-2 for 2, which some strategies really want. And it also happens to be a burn spell that hits both players and creatures. It's really versatile, and the fact that we've got Chieftain and Hellhound still in the pack shows that red probably is open. Sacred Wolf, I'm not the biggest fan of, and I don't really want to be green. I'm blue-green quite a lot. I'll try something else. If I take Ember Hauler, it'll be mainly as a removal spell rather than aggro because of what I have so far. But it's nice to have removal spells when all you have is card draw, so I will take the removal spell. Another very unexciting pack, another green signal, and another green card I don't really want to take because the mana cost is awkward. You don't mind, Ember Hall is actually probably better turn 3 because then they can't kill it for value, whereas Garrick's Companion gets exponentially worse after turn 2. I might actually just try and draft the blue-red counter-burn deck, and therefore try and go aggro. Not a deck I draft very often because it doesn't always work out, but I feel like gambling. And so I will take the Berserker. And annoyingly, more green signals. None or else is particularly good with 4C and Ingenuity because you lose less tempo by making them a turn earlier. And I really don't like Fling unless it's the red-black deck. And I don't really like main decking Manic Vandal because most of the time it's just a 3-man 2-2. So I wouldn't, if I was to take a red card, it wouldn't be something I'd be main decking probably. And so I will just take Lanoirals in the chance that I go blue-green. I would like that Unsummon because the card advantage undoes it, but I think with what I have so far I kind of have to take the Mana Fix. I'll get unsummons later on, whereas expanses often go quite early. I was going to say there's a signal to stay green, but there's also a very late Ember Hauler. Yeah, I can't not take that. Having taken one fourth pick, sorry. And a decent guy. I won't play the Balloon Brigade even if I get Chieftains. I'll take the Safe Passage. On the off chance that I become hyper aggro, and that's quite nice. Red's definitely open, so I'll try and stick to red if I can. Someone might bring this in against me, which is probably a reason to pass it because I do want them to bring it in against me, but oh well. Considering signals, I probably should have been red-green, but I think it's too late to ignore blue now, especially with the power of the cards I already have. hopefully me and the person to my right drafting it cut it off well enough in pack 2 that I'll get the goods. Not the most exciting second pack to be opening. My only real options are Merfolk Sovereign, which is not something I'm going to be taking because of my mana costs, Auguriel and Azure Drake. Pacifism's powerful, but not really worth it. I could theoretically take Sylvan Ranger and start drafting red-green with a look to Splashing, Forcing and Preordain. And considering the signals I got first pack, I think that would reward me most in the third pack. But then I think Azure Drake is a good enough card that it's fine to just hopefully try and stay in blue and hope that it works out. So yeah, I'll just go for that. I don't really want to be red-green. I don't like just the mindless aggro decks. And having just passed the pacifism, we are about to also pass the Serra Angel. And annoyingly, there's nothing we really want in this pack. Even if we were in green, we'd just be getting a Spined Worm. And though I have said a few times that Crystal Ball's not that great, I think I have to take it here. It's fine, I've already got 2 removal spells. I haven't got any bombs to dig into yet, but there's really nothing else I want to take here. I don't want to take Wall of Frost with the slightly aggressive cards I have so far, so I'll just take the Crystal Ball and hope for the best. That's another pacifism. The white guy is definitely getting hooked up, but we didn't really see any white in the first pack, so he's getting rewarded for cutting it nicely. Just hope we don't play against him until the finals. After all that talking, there is a Pyromancer in the pack that's better than any other non-pacifism card, so we'll take that. And now we get back to the terrible packs. There's nothing in any colour that I would consider even close to playable outside of a specific strategy here. Like, Active Treason's good in the right deck and terrible otherwise, but I might be forced to take it. There's also Goblin Piker that I might have to reluctantly play, and I don't have anywhere near enough synergistic cards for Jinxed Idol to be working. Active Treason or Piker. I think actually, considering I already have the card draw, Active Treason won't be too much card disadvantage. I really don't want to play a 2-1 for 2, just because it's a 2-drop. 5/7 would be the pick if I had any non-creature burn spells at the moment. But I think with having just taken Active Treason, Scroll Thief gets better, and I've also got 2 cheap removal spells. I mean, they effectively cost 1 on turn 4, so even I played them turn 2, so yeah, I'll take the Scroll Thief. I didn't mention the Tunneler that was here, because you get those quite late. I mean, I would like a Tunneler in this deck, because I already have Hellhound, Scroll Thief, and these guys. But you get those really late, so it's not worth taking them early. With the Scroll Thief I just took, I think Ice Cage is the pick. If I took the Servant, then Larvax might have been tempting. And we're still rewarding the white drafter, but I'm not going to take Active Treason number 2. Even though Ice Cage is quite inefficient, it's worth picking up. And an empty pack with a 4/4. This one's slightly more interesting. I don't know whether I want the second Ice Cage or the second Preordain. I think if I didn't have these awkward double red 2-drops, I'd take the Preordain because I like smooth. If you've got a deck like this, you want to smooth out your draw as much as possible so you can make up for the fact that you're not really in a specific strategy, you're just playing blue and red good cards. But I think, considering the mana cost, it's better to take Ice Cage and try and go some kind of aggro deck. And let's take more cards that get blown out by Blinding Mage. I don't really like Warlord's Axe, it's just too expensive. Hit the Inspired Charge off the ridiculous white deck. That knocks off Ice Cages. And like I said, the Tunneler came around. We don't really have many playables here. We might have to hope for quite a nice pack 3, sorry. I say pack 2 because I have so few playables. So yeah, we're just going to have to hope we open something quite nice and on curve. And that is something quite nice. You don't often get the thing you asked for, but this is pretty much the best thing I could have hoped for. Shame to pass a lightning bolt and a Chandra Spitfire, but I mean one of them might even table depending on how underdrafted red is. So it's quite a good pack. I mean the 2 green drafters will take the pack leaders, the card Elemental will go to the blue deck, white deck will take Excommunicate. I mean, even if there are 2 other red decks, they'll take... even if there's another red drafter who's not in any of the colours mentioned, he'll take one of these 2. So I might get the other. Chandra Spitfire happens to be good with Chandra. It's quite clever of Wizards to do that. And we just get more Chandra themed cards, some much needed removal. And now we're back to the terrible cards. That's a shame. I don't want to take a 3rd Ice Cage, I don't want to take a 2nd Tunneler, I don't want to take a Temple Bell because I've only ever played it once actually and it was quite good, but my deck was red-black with a really low curve and a bunch of removal. I could theoretically hate the Giant Spider, but I guess it's best just to take the Harvester. I don't really like this card, I barely ever play it main deck. Just because against non-blue decks it's basically a dead card. In blue is quite popular and it happens to be a blowout against blue, so it might be worth it. If this were real life I'd take the Fauna Shaman, but it's not worth much online. And therefore I think now that I have the Chandra it's better to just keep scrying into it. And there's not much else in the pack. Other than green cards, which we saw in the first pack. Another empty pack with a card I wouldn't mind playing. I actually quite like the Sentinel, especially in this kind of deck, because I'm looking to be defensive now. I mean, I have the Ember Haulers, but they're good on defense. So, I'm not sure whether it's the Augury Owl or the Gargle Sentinel. I think because I'm now on the just scry to Chandra and win plan, I have to take the Owl, though it's a shame to pass the Sentinel. It's worth noting all these Manic Vandals I'm passing as well. I suppose they're going to start getting main decked and therefore kill my Sentinel. That's sort of a reason to not pick it. A very loose one at best. Any black cards worth splashing, did I? No, I have no black cards so far. In which case I won't take the Summit. I'll take the Berserkers. Still a whole lot of nothing. Not going to play Fling because I have one card it's good with. Other than that, it's often just going to be a shock with a very big drawback and that costs 1 more. I might just take the Safe Passage. I'm not going to play Lava X. I suppose I theoretically could. More likely than Safe Passage is going to blow me out, so yeah, I'll take the Lava X. And like I said, Spitfire Saber. Oh, the Excommunicate's still there. That surprises me. Okay, but yeah, Spitfire tabled, which is nice. Another Hellhound's not too shabby. Might get Tunneler into him a lot of games. That seems to be one of the only ways I'm winning at the moment, along with Chandra. Speaking of Tunneler, I might as well take the 2nd in case I do have to play it. And randomly kill red mages. Might bring this in. Okay, let's get to building. She's a pretty auto-include. I'll put everything in, even though I probably won't be playing all the 4 drops, and I can get to cutting. I won't be playing Arc Runner, regardless of how fast or slow my deck is. $28, so we do have to cut some cards, which is good news. Phantom Beast will be the first cut. One of the Tunnelers. Act of Treason, because it's not particularly good in my deck. One of the Berserkers. And possibly Harbour Serpent. I'm never sure if Preordains make you more or less likely to run lands. So it basically is a land in itself, but I wouldn't then play 15 lands and 2 Preordain. Because I mean these can't put lands on the bottom. I think this is fine actually. I'm going to play the Crystal Ball because I have ways of stopping an early assault, and all the other cards are pretty much fine. I don't want to play 60 lands because of the fact that I have a lot of double red and my card drawing is in blue. I'll probably play the Expanse even though it messes up my curve. I think it's worth taking that little hit in tempo to gain a lot of consistency. And suggests 9-7 in red's favour. I think that's probably fine. Even though we definitely want to hit blue, 1 blue. we also definitely want to hit 2 if not more red. So with the expanse, 8 blue sources is fine. See you for round 1.